With the ejection of the US and French troops from the Junta-led Sahel region, a well-defined military base is currently being sought after to be established, particularly in northern Nigeria. But with the current insecurity within Nigeria, the question should be, could the national sovereignty gradually be eroded with the presence of foreign boots on Nigerian soil, or could the relocation of these military bases expose Nigeria to new security threats, including unintended consequences and resentment from local communities? On Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue, I've got with me foreign policy enthusiast Favour Eya. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So what's this news about French and US troops being relocating their base down to Nigeria?
For me, I feel it's good news, but then we should look at the potential risk of their coming to Nigeria.
These potential risks, are they positive or negative?
There are positive ones, and then there are, when I say the risk means negative, but then because you've asked, there are negative impacts, then there are the good ones as well. But for me, totally, I feel it's good news considering what has been going on in the northern part of Nigeria.
So that should be a breakdown in the second phase of the show. But before you do that, you do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across various social media platforms. Join us in the next phase of the show. You're welcome back to the show. So, Favour, you made mention of, before we onboarded on the second phase, this issue of risk and the impact. Now, might we recall that before we even brought in foreign troops into the country, it was during the Jonathan administration, and this was as far back as 2010, 2012, when the Boko Haram insurgency, they first of all started by hitting, they hit the United Nations building before they clamped down on the girls. Which now brought in, and I want to believe their leaving was because they were confused. So now they're bringing these people on board now. Will you agree with me, or will you oppose to that fact that actually they are threatening sovereignty?
We might not call it threatening sovereignty because we know what is going on in Nigeria, and we cannot ignore that there is high insecurity in Nigeria, most especially in the northern part. And yes, it's going to undermine sovereignty, but if maybe the government is being truthful to themselves, they have seen that this thing is way above us, then we need someone else outside from what we have to intervene in this terrorism, banditry that is going on in this region of the country. Because they are I think they are going straight to the north where those things are happening. So in as much as it's going to undermine sovereignty, I think this is the government being honest. We can't do this. We need extra people to join us in order to fight these things.
Okay, now, but from my own opinion, from my own perspective now, the government has identified that, okay, yes, we need foreign hands on deck now, thereby inking down or signing these pacts between Nigeria and foreign forces. Now, these foreign forces now, let's take a cue now from the Middle East. Particularly Afghanistan and Iran and Iraq. The people in question now, particularly these US troops and the French forces, we even see them on their video games, Medal of Honor and co. Now, the question now is, these people are well grounded. They are being brought on board based on a relocation base, writing or inking down a pact or agreement now with the Nigerian government. Now, the thing or issue now is, activists, particularly in the north, are opposed to it. Is it that they are aiding and abetting insurrection when it comes to banditry?
I think that they are bothered about what is going on, taking insight from what has been happening in other places that we have had international military base. But I don't think that is reason enough. Them being afraid is not reason enough from the government taking their actions. This is a necessary action that concerns national security. So because you think that this thing might escalate to a point that we will turn to the likes of Afghanistan and the rest, then because of that, we now step back from doing what we are supposed to do. Yes, are these things going to have potential disadvantages? They are going to have them, but let's look at the good side of these things. They are going to help to reduce the height of insecurity that is happening, most especially in the northern part of Nigeria. They are going to create opportunities in Nigeria. They are going to do a whole lot of things, but their concerns is valid. Yes, it's valid. But I'm not part of those that believe that you have to step back because of the cons of a particular action. We look at the positive part of it. Then also, I think it is the work of the government in order to checkmate, for them to checkmate the potential risk of this step they have taken.
If we look at the positive side now, oftentimes a long-term effect always has negative impact. Will you agree? Because we look at it now, we bring in these French forces now, they won't want to leave. We bring in these US troops now, they might not want to leave. I'm not saying they being on ground is a bad idea, but
not a bad idea.
Crucially, they've actually been using that locale. Why? Because of airspace to survey terrorist activities and know how to checkmate them. Earlier on, before we started on the show, we were talking about AFRICOM, which is based in the Pentagon in the US. Okay. Now, this is something or a house that actually makes sure that they curb excesses, particularly militancy, in that region. So won't you agree that in the long term, the US and the French, they stand to gain something with pen to paper, and the African will not even know in long term coming?
You said something about pact, and I think that this is something that the pact should cover. If the government is will I say reasonable enough or wise enough, this is something that the agreement should cover, that this is the reason you are here in the country for social business, and once this is achieved, you let go. Everybody should start going, and maybe I believe that these are things that
you made mention about something like train now. Yeah. A region whereby they are not even disposed to Western education. You now have Western forces there. We may be disposed now to even listening to their forms of training.
I feel that, like I said, agreement is the most important thing in all of this. If you agree, it is left for the both bodies to respect what they have signed. Look at what you're going to do there. Look at who you are under, and look at who is under you, and look at where you should. This is your limit, and this is where you belong. Once all these things are stated and there is a mutual agreement, I believe that no one is going to overstep.
It's all right. So what do you feel or think maybe the Tinubu administration should be swift into taking, regardless of what specifically speaking, People's Redemption Party and the NNPP? Yeah. Now, these are minority parties that don't even have a say when it comes to national issues now. What do you now have to say concerning those people now?
I think their idea is
because they are totally opposed to it.
Yes, their idea is valid. They are right in a way, but the government, like I said in the beginning, they are being honest to themselves. Like we saw what happened from the beginning of the year. There was kidnapping to the point that it got to the Federal Capital Territory. So to tell you how bad it is, that is now at their doorstep and they couldn't do anything about it. So I believe this is the administration. They are being honest. We cannot do this. And you cannot take because some borders in the north are saying something like this. This is where the government also should come in an agreement with these people. Let them see reasons. Because if they were briefed before this was started, I think that they will not be asking so many questions and they will not be opposing. So I believe that the government should seek a way for them to meet with these people and explain, look at why we are doing this. Look at, this is the point it has got to, and we don't have any other choice but to go this way. And I believe if this is being done the right way, both parties will see reasons why this should be in place. I don't think the government should ignore them or key into what they have said immediately.
Part of the reasons why they even ejected, particularly the French troops now who were based in all these Junta regions, the likes of Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. Now these are French territories now, which actually now push for evacuation of the French territories. Now they tend to be patronizing Russian territories. We feel now there's this Eastern and Western bloc influencing the psyche of Nigerians or West Africans at large.
I think that I am part of those that still say that Cold War has not yet ended. wherever United States...
So now the Cold War now is not a case of missiles and bullets, it's a case of pen and paper.
Wherever United States, France finds their base, believe me, Russia is going to come real soon to a neighboring town, so they will be there. Look at what happened. It's not easy. It's not easy to bring an international military base to your country, because you might have considered so many things that...
You're not even considering so many things. You're looking down on your own military forces.
Yes, aside that, there are things that you are to lose and things that you are to gain. This is you sending, like, some countries, neighboring countries are going to see this as a threat. Oh, you're not bringing in military bodies. Like we have some now, like those in Niger. Very soon, Russia is going to come in there, and it will become... That's where, like, Cold War will start over again here in West Africa.
And it's going to be a case of how... It's going to be a case of divide and rule.
And aside that, I mentioned potential risk. Potential risk, it's very important. It's very, very important, because once Nigeria is bringing in US and France here, we have automatically become an enemy to whosoever America and France is an enemy to. And once they want to go on with an attack on US, believe me, we are already part of the target. We are in the list, because their base is right there. We don't want to talk about it's mainly, look at what is happening in Russia and Ukraine today. This is part of the reason. NATO building a base in Ukraine. And building a base, a military base, is just like a threat to any country. So it depends on how you want to take it up. Or I don't know if Nigeria had the discussion with others in platforms like ECOWAS, and there was an agreement. If it was brought in ECOWAS and discussed and they agreed, then fine.
But do you think ECOWAS, a regional bloc, should actually come to terms with this?
Yeah, in as much as they are fighting for the benefit of the region, countries that are members of ECOWAS also, they have their own problem, and they cannot deny, West African countries in Africa can deny that they can't see the things that has been going on in Nigeria, the height of insecurity. You cannot even travel safely during the daytime, talk more of night. So if they should come against it, I think that's where I say that we should do what they do in foreign organizations. You seek for your own benefit first. So this is Nigeria going for what you benefit them before. Yes, you go for your national interest before thinking of what will happen, because you cannot say because these people oppose, the other person declined, we will not go on with, and we are here dying. No, we can't do that.
Well, that will be all on Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. We had Favour Eya crossing the T's and dotting the I's concerning foreign boots on the Nigerian soil, and how it has impacted on other West African countries, and how it also impacts or influences decisions within Nigeria, futuristically speaking. You do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across various social media platforms.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks for watching.